Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today is day 23 of our daily art journaling challenge from Art Joy of Sharing Art Community over on Facebook for the hashtag ajospeculiarpersona. And this is about making funny characters with stories or without stories in your head on your art journal pages, October 2021. So today's prompt is Jana Jokerson, and I wanted to use one of my black pages. The white page book is almost full, and so the last, I've got like, I don't know, what is it, 7 left or something, and I need 3 of these black pages. And I was thinking about Jana Jokerson. I was thinking about people who joke, and I was then thinking that kind of led my brain to what people think is funny and what people don't think is funny, and how some people think that dark humor is really funny. And there's a lot of those things that they call memes out there, where there's like a picture with some kind of funny, ironic, sarcastic saying. And that got me to thinking about who makes those. They keep coming on Facebook and they keep coming on Instagram, and your friends share them and you get them. Somebody sends it to you in Messenger. It's funny. And some of it's funnier than others, but it's all about your sense of humor and what you think is funny. So I decided to make a character, Jana Jokerson character, who is someone whose job it is to think up dark humor and make memes and send them out into the world. And she's a dark humor person, and she, you know, maybe I wished I was a little bit more like her. I wish I was cool and edgy, and I could sit around and think of sarcastic things to say, and I'm too much sunny and light to be like that. So that was the person that I was creating for this. So I decided to do kind of a grungy background, and I thought it would be fun to use this soulful scribbles unfold by designed by Tracy Bautista. But I didn't want the bits of the stencil that were on the inside. I wanted it to be like a stamp, like a print. And so instead of putting the stencil down and stenciling through it, I put paint on the stencil and then pressed it down, pressed that painty, wet paint side down on the paper and lifted it up. And that's more like the idea of a stamped image. Although it's still a stencil, it works perfectly fine. It also gives you this grungy look because it's kind of peeling the paint back a little bit and giving it, I don't know, just it's a little bit dirty and messy, and kind of reminds me of something like graffiti, graffiti sprayed with a spray paint, which I thought looked really cool. I also used a little bit of mark making with a couple of the, let's see, who is it? Dina Wakley. Dina Wakley gloss sprays, the turquoise one, because I used turquoise, black, gray, and white to do my background with the stencil. And then I dripped and splattered with some turquoise gloss spray, and then also the dark blue one. I think it's called Night. I was trying to spray with them, but of course they're clogged up because all the sprays are always clogged up, and I don't feel like cleaning it out. So I just unscrew it, and I just use that little plastic straw inside to flick and splatter, and I use the lid to make some circle-y marks. So, just making a fun, it just kind of reminds me of graffiti. That's the best way that I can really think of what I was going for. Kind of in a dirty alley somewhere behind a dumpster, and somebody's out there with their spray cans, which they can make some pretty awesome stuff with spray cans. I don't like the smell of it, so I don't use spray stuff like that, but there can be some really fun things to do with it. So then my next thing to do was to draw my character. I wanted her to be dark looking, like I mean, you really should not judge people based on what they look like, but we still do it, right? We still see someone who's got um, piercings and they're wearing black clothes and black lipstick, and we think to that person might have dark humor or might be someone who's maybe they're I don't know. We just make snap decisions like that, which is a bad idea. But since I'm making a character, she's fictitious. She's not real, and I just want to kind of um, convey a feeling about this person. I decided to make her really punk or goth or something. I don't know. I don't know. I can't even think of the right labels. It's like so not things that I think about. But I knew what I was going for. I wanted a high contrast on the skin because I think this person is a hacker and she's in the dark all the time, and the lightness that hits her face is from the computer monitors. And you see a lot of these type of characters in TV shows and um, you know, young adult fantasy, which I read a lot. Maybe maybe she goes out and hunts vampires at night. I don't know, but she's that type of a character. So I started out with a tan on the parts of the face that stick out, like the nose and the forehead and the chin and the clavicle. And then I put in purple and blue shadows. So hopefully, well, as it dried, it wasn't as high contrast as it was when it was wet. But I'm using Neo Color 2 water soluble crayons. Love these things. And I'm just putting them directly on the paper. And this is just printer paper from my printer. Nothing special at all. And then I'm blending it with a water brush. And she's got big eyes because she's got to be able to see the computer screen. And so, she's always got her eyes open looking at the zeros and ones as she's hacking or writing code or making dark humor memes because, her name is Jokerson, right? So she's definitely into humor. It just happens to be dark humor. So then I gave her kind of ombre purple hair, and it's all spiky. I mean, she uses so much product. She should probably just buy stock in Bedhead or something because she uses product to make her hair stand straight up as if she's being electrocuted. It's pretty cool actually, and it's purple, of course, because purple hair is the coolest kind. I used to have purple hair, but I haven't colored my hair since the quarantine. So now it's same old ugly color, nothing fancy. So then once I was done adding color with my Neo Color 2 water soluble crayons, isn't that a lot to say? They're made by Crayon to Ash. A couple people have been interested in them. If you want to purchase these, please use my Amazon link. It takes you to my Amazon store, and then you can find all the things that I use frequently there. People haven't been using my Amazon link lately, so I'll just remind you that it's there down below the video. I'll even put a specific link for these crayons so that you can find them, and also the stencil that I use. I'll try to remember to do that. This month has been crazy, and it's hard for me to make links and all that stuff when I've got to make a video every day. So if you just go to my regular Amazon store, you'll find all the things, but I'll also add a couple links that go directly to the things that I'm using. So then I cut her out, and I found these words as one of the dark humor things on the internet when I searched for dark humor. I'm not sick, I'm twisted. Sick makes it sound like there's a cure. That was funny. It's funny. It's dark, but it's funny. So that's what I'm going to put on there. Then I've got my little character, and I'm making her shirt. It's kind of like I used to call this a baseball shirt, where the main part is a different color than the sleeves, and the sleeves were like 3/4 inch. I mean 3/4 long, 3/4 sleeves with like usually a white and then a color on. I don't, you know what I'm talking about? That kind of shirt. That's the kind of shirt it is because that's retro and cool these days. Because those are back from when I was a kid, and now they're kind of back. But I made it patterned. This black piece with the interesting shapes on it. That's made by using a stencil underneath a piece of dark magazine. And then you sand it with a little sanding block, and it sands off that top layer of the ink that's printed onto magazine page and gives you something interesting. So if in the ads and things you can find dark sections like black or dark blue or dark brown, you can do that. It's cool. It's a cool stenciling technique. There's not really any paint involved, just a little sanding block. I use the ones that are for acrylic nails. So then I put the center section to be kind of that turquoise color, and it actually does have almost there's some patterning on that, which is almost like a target, like circle inside a circle inside a circle. It's hard to see here on the video. I can't hardly see it, but it's stenciled with a spray onto a piece of book paper, so it's got that book writing on it too. Gluing everything down with my Yoo-Hoo glue stick. This is the kind that's blue and turns clear when it's dry. So I've got everything down and using a card to just scrape across it to make sure that everything is smooth and to get the paper down into the center crack. Then I bring back in that Pentel pocket brush. That's India ink inside a brush pen, and it was leaking. My hands were all black. My fingers had black all over them, which was yucky. And I was like, ugh. I kept feeling it and ugh, didn't like it. So what did I do? Oh, then I, of course, got out Posca pens. These are acrylic paint pens. The ones that people have been asking me about them recently, the ones I use are, the white and black I use are fine tip. Not the extra fine and not the medium and not, they've got them all different widths, but it's the fine. And I buy these white ones in a pack of 3. They are the original ones from Japan, but they come quickly on Amazon. They don't come from Japan. They get here pretty quick. And I buy the black ones in the same type of a way. So I use a lot of black and white Posca acrylic paint pens because they write all over everything. They're opaque, and it's just something that I use frequently in art journaling. So I brightened up the eyes. I added some highlights, scribbly line highlights, and stuff like that with the white. I messed around with it, adding some jewelry. On one side, she has a safety pin through her ear. She's got a ring in her eyebrow, a ring in her nose, and then she's got a different type of earring because you don't match them. You don't want to match them if you're cool. You want 2 different types of things. So the other one is like kind of a triangle dangle, purple earring on that side. Then I put a chain around her neck and gave her the Deathly Hallows symbol, triangle, straight line, circle, because that's cool because she's into Harry Potter, or she was as a kid, but she still remembers. And what else? I don't know, just touching up, messing around. So then I decided that I needed to have, somebody said to me today when I was reading the comments, you should write the stories onto the pages so that you remember. Because I've been kind of thinking of stories about these characters this month as I've been doing this, which I do that all the time, but it's usually just in my head. I don't say it. But I decided to go ahead and write her a little bit of her story so that the page is explained. If I ever look at it 5 years from now, I'm like, why did I make this? I think I'll remember, but you never know because I might lose my mind and not remember. So I got out my Brother P-Touch label maker and just typed some things into that. It's not the fanciest one. I have 2 other printer things, but I was too lazy to get out the phone app and the whole thing. So I just used this old one. This is old, and I've had it for probably 20 years, if not more. Really just making labels to stick on things, but it works for this too. So I did some typing and I typed out, what does it say? Jana Jokerson spends her time in a dark basement designing dark humor memes and hacking secure databases. I needed to trim it down so to make them a little bit thinner because they were too fat. This piece strips were too fat. So I trimmed the tops and the bottoms off. And then there's a little split in the middle and you kind of fold it over and peel and stick. I didn't put them straight because I don't want them straight. I want them like cattywampus. That's a real technical term, cattywampus. And then I think the only other thing I did was I made some marks with my white Posca pen. And some of them are kind of like scribbly lines. And then at the bottom there, I wrote some lines of ones and zeros because, you know, everything, all the code in the computer is ones and zeros. That's how everything is made in code. I don't know how it works. Never been a coder, but it's interesting. So I hope you've enjoyed this page. If you have, please remember to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. Please subscribe and turn on your notification bells and leave me a comment. That's it for me for today. See you again tomorrow with a new page.